Hello and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And another week of NFL games is about to begin. So we have another set of NFL predictions. Tim, are you ready to go?
Let's run it, baby.
Let's do it. And after a wild week 3 where we thought that maybe there'd be a little bit more separation between the two of us, nope. But
No,
we
we just got an almost even number of things different.
Well, I mean, we're doing better. We are improving. I
This is
went
true.
10-6 last week. Tim, you went 9-7. That brings my overall record to 27-20-1. And that brings your overall record to 25-22-1. So in this little
Gosh, that
pseudo
pesky one is going to
competition,
annoy me all season.
well, you know what? The Colts and the Texans tied, so deal with it. It's there. It's staying for the rest of the season, and
I
I
will
hate it
still hate
just
it.
as I hate it just as much as you do. But now we have week 4 games to go over, starting with the Thursday night matchup, the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals.
We filmed this on a Wednesday night, and the Thursday night game has already happened, in which the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Miami Dolphins 27-15. So we're just going to skip this game right here. That's what already happened. Tim picked the Bengals, I picked the Dolphins. And as far as Tua Tagovailoa's situation goes, we really hope that he's not hurt too badly, and it's a very serious situation, and we pray for a speedy recovery for Tua.
Starting out on Sunday is the first
Sunday
London game of the
morning.
season. Yes, we've got a Sunday morning game for those of us back in the States, and that would be the Minnesota Vikings against the New Orleans Saints. And both of these teams, they've had their ups and downs. The Vikings are coming off of a win against the Lions this past week, while the Saints are coming off of a loss to the Panthers. But I don't know. For some reason, something is telling me in this game that I think we are going to see a little bit of a reemergence of the Saints defense. The Saints defense has struggled a little bit in some of these games. For instance, giving up 22 points to the Panthers, not all that ideal out of a defense that's supposed to be at least somewhat elite, but to be pretty decent. But I think this week we're going to see a little bit of a reemergence, as well as the fact that the one bright spot of the Saints game this past week was some of the emergence of Chris Olave. Olave is sort of
Ooh,
on the up and up.
Olave's been so good, and people are
Yes,
already crowning him as the Saints wide receiver one. So, Tim, who are you picking?
I got the Saints.
Yeah, I had a feeling you would, and I am waking. I'm looking forward to not being able to sleep Sunday morning because grabbing your tea and crumpets, and Andrew's going to be yelling bright and early because he is our resident Vikings fan, and I love him
Yep.
very dearly, but he's going to be yelling because the Vikings are going to be winning. And although one can make an argument for prime time Kirk
Maybe
in
jet
London,
lag Kirk? Jet lag Kirk?
Vikings are still going to win either way. So differing opinions on that one. And the next game we got is the Cleveland Browns taking on the Atlanta Falcons. This is an interesting matchup because these are two teams that I don't really think are very good, but they are two teams that definitely have something to them. They're not just going to lay over and die. They're not just going to be a doormat. And of course, the Cleveland Browns haven't. They've been in a lot of tight games in the early going, being on the receiving end of one victory and the receiving end of one heartbreaking loss. And the Atlanta Falcons, they've really shown that they can hang tough with teams that are much better than they are, see their exhibition against the Rams. But for me, I just think that this Falcons team is going to find a way to figure it out. Marcus Mariota will have his hiccups, but Cordero Patterson will do Cordero Patterson things. He's still a very viable RB2 in fantasy football. Who starts Cordero Patterson as an RB2? I will. Drake London is a target vacuum. He's proving to be really good. And when Kyle Pitts does Kyle Pitts things and he's involved,
He finally got some targets and receptions. So
so I'll take the
not
Falcons.
yeah, I actually we have similar mindsets here. As much as we've seen the Browns play pretty well, I would say kind of surprisingly well out of Jacoby Brissett, better than I thought that he was going to do stepping in. And Nick Chubb has been Nick Chubb. He has still been a powerhouse running back.
That Nick
But the
Chubes
Falcons,
dude.
yes, the Falcons have continued to look better each and each week. And I think that improvement is going to continue. I think they're going to do better at getting Kyle Pitts involved. Obviously, Cordero Patterson has been playing significantly well. I believe he is third in the league in rushing at just over 300. And I think that they're going to be able to find a way to get stops when they need to. So I actually have the Falcons here as well. The next matchup we have is the anti-footballs against the Dallas Cowboys.
We love our anti-footballs. No, we don't. They stink.
No, they have not looked good at all.
And with that, I think I'm just going to say I'm taking the Cowboys. Cooper Rush. QB
Rush
controversy.
QB controversy. Has stepped in and done well. Now, granted, they had a slow start against the Giants, but in the second half, their offense finally picked up.
Okay, but you can't deny that he's gone in and done the darn thing.
No, but he, as a backup and a guy who hasn't had much experience starting games, he has come and actually played substantially well, and well enough to win games, and well enough to win here again. I have the Cowboys too.
Cooper Rush.
Especially given the fact that I think that the Commanders will also struggle to protect Carson Wentz once again against Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence combo.
Let it be known, the anti-footballs are not a good football team. The next matchup we have is the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have had that dog in them. They've had that fight in them, and their offense has taken off and taken flight. Who would have thunk it that Jared Goff is like playing like a somewhat competent quarterback?
They're playing goofball. Oh.
Sure, Tim. Sure, Tim. They're playing goofball, and Jared Goofball is definitely leading the way. Their running backs have looked good, no matter whether it's DeAndre Swift or Jamal Williams. I miss Jamal Williams very dearly, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing his thing on the outside. The Seahawks, they have their ups and downs. They come and go. Not very good. They come and they go, and I think this is going to be a week where they go. I'll take the Lions.
I've got the Lions in this one as well. Even without DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams has proven to be a very efficient runner when he's gotten the start. You saw the pretty decent off week out of Amon-Ra St. Brown last week, trying to get Hockenson involved. I see no reason why the Lions can't pick up this win here.
The next matchup we got is an AFC South battle between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Two very, very, very confusing teams. And I can't stand the Colts, Tim.
They are real heartbreakers.
Just when I can't trust them, they somehow win at home against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't understand it.
And they did a pretty good job of limiting the Chiefs' offense.
And the Tennessee Titans, I mean, somebody had to win again, them and the Raiders, and I picked the Titans because I had a feeling, and they won. And they did. Tim,
you finally saw Derrick Henry actually run the ball pretty well again.
So Tim, I'm gonna let you make your pick first.
In this one, I'm going to use the advice and knowledge of one of my best friends here at Purdue, diehard Colts fan. In his words, the Colts got their two cursed games out of the way: the Jaguars at Jaguars and Week 1. So they're just going to win them all now. So I've got the Colts. Simple as that.
Perfect logic, Tim. Absolutely perfect logic. And I'm going to use logic that is just as flawless by, for the first time in running the table history, using the power of a coin.
The coin flip.
I'm going to be flipping a coin here. All right.
Let's see what we got.
All right. So because I genuinely don't know what to do. These two teams are genuinely very confusing. And instead of making a guess, I just think it would be so much more fun to go to the coin. So, hey, heads, I'm taking the Colts. Tails, I'm taking the Titans. All right.
Let's see what we got. Please tell me you could flip a coin.
It's heads. I'm taking the Colts.
Okay.
No, you can't see that, but I'm taking Indianapolis. Coin fall.
We'll have to trust the coin.
Trust the coin.
Our next matchup in this one is, oh boy, my Chicago Bears at the New York Giants. They're two teams that
are 2-1 and shouldn't be 2-1.
Yeah, they're two teams that have been definitely surprising in terms of, I guess, exceeding expectations. The Giants by actually playing well in some games. The Bears by doing I don't know. But I'm going to be honest, especially with David Montgomery out, the lack of a passing offense, and it being at the Giants, I think Saquon is going to have a pretty good game. It does hurt the Giants to have Sterling Shepard now out for the season. Boy, I wish that dude could stay healthy. But regardless, I think the Giants are going to be able to do enough to outlast them. So I think the Bears' lack of passing offense is going to catch up to them here.
I absolutely loathe the fact that either the Bears or the Giants
are going to become
3-1 after this week. I hate it.
Yeah, it's quite a concept.
I'm not sure what I hate.
I'm
not sure what I hate more, that fact or the fact that I'm actually going to pick the Bears.
Really?
It seemed like it's going to be a battle of the running backs. It'll be.
I mean, yeah.
It'll be Herbert versus
They're two
Barkley.
teams that really can't pass the ball all that well, although the Giants still manage to pass the ball better than the Bears.
Their defense is going to be bend but don't break. It's the matchup of terrible quarterbacks, Danny Dimes or Justin Fields. I think the Bears are going to commit to the run game more than the Giants will. So I think that commitment early and the Giants still somewhat having faith that they shouldn't have in Daniel Jones will be their undoing.
Stay tuned whether Kenny Galladay can catch a football.
$72 million. Where did it
go?
The next matchup we have on our hands is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jaguars looked really, really good last week against the Chargers for God knows what reason.
This matchup shouldn't really be one that has that much, question mark around it. But with the way that the Jaguars played last week, you gotta wonder.
Yeah, but then
are they going to be able to repeat that kind of success?
They're going up against the best team in the NFC right now, and it's definitely safe to say with the way that Philadelphia has really handily won their first 3 games.
Well, you talk about dominance on both sides of the ball. Their defense had a field day with the Commanders last week.
I really want to pick the Jaguars here because let chaos ensue, but I'm going to listen to my brain. But I'm going to listen to my brain and pick the Eagles. They're playing too well on both sides of the ball. Jalen Hurts actually looks like a franchise quarterback and, dare I say, MVP candidate with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And that defense, if that defense puts pressure on Trevor Lawrence, it's going to be a tough time for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's going to be tough sailing if that defensive line has that same kind of success or even similar that they did against the Commanders. And as we've seen, their offense has been passing expectations with flying colors. And as much as, like you said, it would be a fun story if we think the Jaguars might actually win this one. And I think it could be a battle if the Jaguars come with the same amount of fight that they did this past week. But like you said, the Eagles have just been playing too well for me to vote against them yet. So I've got Philly.
The next matchup we have on hand is the Jets and the Steelers. Still going Super Bowl.
Are you sure about that? Have you seen their offense?
No, but they're going to win. They're going to win this game. I don't think Zach Wilson will quite have his sea legs under him back yet. Even if he does play and if he doesn't sit, then the Steelers defense should have no problem with Joe Flacco. I think Kenny Pickett should play, if not start this game. But then again, what the heck do I know?
Hey,
I'm just a guy.
Regardless of your opinion, Mike Tomlin has come out and said, someone had asked, are you going to make a quarterback change week 4? And he said, continually no. So we're going to see Trubisky at the helm. And for that reason, Zach Wilson return game. Jets, I've got him. New York, baby. Come on. Do me right.
All right. Hey, you're picking the Miracle Jets this week. I picked them last week, and look at how well that did me. Be wary of the Jets.
Be wary of the Steelers. Look at their offense.
True.
Our next matchup in this one is definitely going to be a battle of who offenses. The Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. And we've seen how both of these quarterbacks have played. I see no different in this matchup. I think this is going to be 2 offenses that are going to be trying to outsling each other. And in the case of Lamar Jackson, and as well with Josh Allen, outrunning each other. And it's going to be quite a game. We did see the Bills actually finally get somewhat limited, despite scoring, I believe it was 20 plus points still, against the Dolphins. The Bills did finally truly.
The Bills scored
dominate.
19 points.
Well, okay, almost 20. But regardless,
I'm sorry to actually you there, but come on, Tim, do better.
Regardless, the Lamar for MVP candidacy is going full swing right now, and I see it continuing here. I actually think that I want to take the Ravens at home with an offense that has shown that they can do business with or without Marquise Brown. I think they're going to continue having that success here, even against a very good Bills defense.
Yeah, Tim, and in a matchup between the Bills and the Ravens, you know who the real winners are? The fans. I'm going to shut up and make an actual pick now. I don't think the Bills are going to slip up 2 weeks in a row. They're too well coached. They're too disciplined. And the tantrum that Ken Dorsey threw.
I was going to say, hopefully, hopefully no more broken keyboards and tablets.
Yeah, they're not letting that happen again.
Next up, we have the LA Chargers at the Houston Texans. And the Chargers, boy, what happened? They just got completely dominated this past week. And here we've got the Texans, who didn't look particularly great either, although they did push the Bears pretty hard. Putting up 20 is not bad. But I don't think that, similar to what you were saying about the Bills not slipping up twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row, I don't think the Chargers slip up 2 weeks in a row here. I think you're going to have a more healthy Herbert. I think you're going to have just an offense that's playing generally better. And I think they're finally going to be able to get Eckler a little bit more efficient in terms of, maybe running, but also getting more involved with the passing game. I do. I really do. But the only thing that does really hurt them is Rashawn Slater being out for the season. That is a big blow to that offensive line. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe Lindsey may or may not be back for this week, which also would help them. But man, if they were able to get that offensive line,
pretty good center.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. But I've got the Chargers in this one for those reasons.
Yeah, I do also. Although I'm really, the more I think about it, the more I'm really not surprised that the Chargers are doing old Charger things and throwing up an absolute dud, but they're not going to do it 2 weeks in a row. So in that case, I have LA. And the next matchup we got to cover is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. And it's really weird at this point of the season. The more I think about it, I don't really like very many teams in the National Football League. It's only a handful that I can really confidently
Not many have been all that consistent.
Yeah, that I can really confidently say oh yeah, this team's really good or this team's really bad. Cardinals still don't know what to make of them. Panthers kind of know what to make of them, but then again, they beat the Saints last week, who the Saints I don't know what to make of. So by the transitive property of mathematics, I guess I don't know what to make of the Panthers. They really need to use Christian McCaffrey
more.
Football? What is football? What is a football? What even is a football? The Commanders don't know, and neither do we, but we're sure as heck trying. I'm going to pick the Cardinals.
Oddly enough, I actually have them here as well. I think they're a team that they've struggled in the first half of games a lot, but in the second half, they've picked things up. I think they're finally going to start getting the hang of, maybe scoring in the first half or scoring multiple points in the first half. I think that, as I actually predicted at the beginning of the season, I thought around that week 4, week 5, week 6 is when you're going to start to see the Cardinals actually start to figure things out. I didn't like them to start the season. They still haven't proven much, but I think this is going to be a game that's going to help them get back on their feet. I do believe they actually will win this game.
Tim, I just realized before making my pick, I didn't really say much logic. I just talked about what is football, philosophical.
What is football, Cardinals?
You don't need to know my logic, damn it. I'm here to entertain. Next game.
Next game, here we have the New England Patriots at the Green Bay Packers.
Packers.
I'm going to lay out a couple of reasons, but like you said, it's Packers for a couple of obvious reasons. One,
it's the Packers. It's Aaron
the Packers
Rodgers.
are playing relatively well. Despite the almost slip up against the Buccaneers last week, they still have a good amount going for them. The big thing for me is on the side of the New England Patriots. High ankle sprain for Mac Jones definitely kills their offensive production, which wasn't great in the first place. You saw some good things out of Ramondre Stevenson, but I don't think the run game is going to be able to carry this one.
Tim,
for them.
Stop talking. You really think Brian Hoyer is going to beat the Packers at Lambeau?
Man's got experience.
No. The Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Two teams that just don't want to win, it feels like.
No, I mean...
The Broncos try their hardest to lose, yet somehow have won multiple games.
Yeah, and the Raiders have
have
they're just snake
succeeded in
bitten.
attempting to lose every game.
They're just snake bitten. I mean, a roster with Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfro, and Darren Waller, an offense rather, and the defense that on paper is pretty okay.
I
Shouldn't be
mean,
0-3.
Max Crosby and
But
Chandler Jones. I'm still waiting for Chandler Jones to do
but
something.
but Tim, in like a weird roundabout way, I think the Denver Broncos are going to accidentally their way into a third victory. So I'll take Denver. Broncos country, let's ride.
I really hate this matchup because they're two teams that I don't know if they have the ability to close games. So it's going to be who throws the game harder. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, I actually think just based on pure gut and maybe a sprinkle of home field advantage, that I think the
Do
Raiders
the
might actually
Raiders
be
get
able
their
to pull
first
out their first
win?
win. Yeah. I'm
Nah,
hoping that they will.
nah.
For the sake of the poor Raiders fans out there that were having such high expectations for the season.
Hey,
And now they're 0-3.
for the sake of the funnies, 0-4. But the next game we got is the Sunday night matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And a good matchup. Hooray! The football gods have given us with a good primetime game. Who would have
Gosh, prime time
thunk it?
last week was so painful.
Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady, a rematch
The
of
old
the Super
classic.
Bowl a few years ago, and hopefully Tom Brady will be throwing to more receivers than just Russell Gage and Cole Beasley and Brashad
Rashad
Perriman.
Perriman.
Yeah, not pretty. I think the Buccaneers should be a little bit healthier, but the Chiefs are a team that, like you could say for a couple teams in the AFC, the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, not going to slip up twice in a row, even if it is against the Bucks, one of the NFC's quote unquote contenders. We don't really know what that is right now. The NFC is just an absolute mess. But I'll
Mod
take the
Podge of
Chiefs on
who
the
the
road.
heck knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be weird because I mean at least the Buccaneers will have some of those offensive weapons back to throw the ball. I don't think Godwin will be back, but
Mike Evans will
Mike
be.
Evans will be, and that's gonna be big for them. Um, I don't know. Something tells me if I got a shot in the dark and an upset for some reason, I think that the
Do
Chiefs
it.
are going to struggle a
Send
little
it.
bit this week. I've got the Bucks. I think the Bucks are finally gonna. I think Tom Brady's going to be really sick and tired of losing some of these games, and I think he's going to come out with a vengeance and finally have a more Tom Brady-esque game.
Over under Surface Pros destroyed 0.5. Tim, what's your pick?
Over by far, at least two.
Oh, wow. That's bold. That would be like a career high for Surface Pros broken. Let's move on to our final matchup of the week, the Monday night matchup, which is another good matchup. That's
Who would have
amazing.
thought?
Yeah, the Rams
Almost like they
and the
try to schedule good
Niners.
games for prime time. They
If
missed. They
only.
dropped the ball last week.
Oh boy, did they. Last week, jokes aside, I got the Rams in this one. I'm going to keep my pick short and sweet. The Niners didn't look great with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm, and the Rams are the Rams. They're still really, really good. So I'm not going to overthink this one too much.
I'm actually pulling all the way back to last year with this one. And the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm kind of seem to have a way to have the Rams number. I think they're going to have it again here. I've actually got the 49ers in this one. I think that they'll find a little bit more comfort in their offense and actually be able to stifle some of the Rams here. So I've got San Fran.
And this is why we agree to disagree. But Tim, outro time.
Hey, we've got tons going on here this fall with lots of NFL and fantasy football. If you look back, we've got stuff throughout the summer with the NBA, NHL, previous NFL stuff. If you want it, go back, you'll find it. And we love all the support that we've been getting. You want more from us, let us know. But in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on socials. In the meantime, we out.